Hi, everyone. I hope everything's going well. So this week we are starting with Module 2, and we'll also begin some work towards our first short essay. So, of course, if you have not yet started going through the Module 2 material, you will want to get started with that right away. And first, we do have a presentation on applying English studies by my colleague, Dr. C. And, of course, again, my thanks to her for letting us use her lecture for this. And then we have my short mini lecture notes really on close reading that I'd like you to consider. And of course, close reading is really a very important English studies skill, which many of you might have practiced before, such as in studying literature. But close reading is also important and applicable for professional settings as well. So as you read through the mini lecture, consider how close reading might be used in your own professional career. And then finally, we do have a short definition presentation, also by my colleague, Dr. C, which helps define multimodal literacy. So if you haven't heard that term before, this will explain it somewhat. So this will be, of course, an important as well as we read Wysocki's article for Thursday, and also consider how concepts on multimodality can be applicable in professional settings. So those readings, I hope, will help explain some of that. And then, of course, the page for the definition presentation on Canvas, it's not letting me put it on your Canvas calendar or to-do list. I'm not quite sure why. So just do make sure that you click on the in the modules tab, and you can find it there, or click next on the bottom of the page for the mini lecture. So the first assignment that is due this week is the job interview question discussion. Now, of course, although you are not creating resumes and cover letters for this particular class, although if you take workplace writing or technical writing, those classes can help you with that. I am asking you, though, to think about how you can best articulate the value of English studies skills to a potential employer. And so the prompt for this week on Tuesday asks you to imagine that you are in an interview with a skeptical interviewer. And so, of course, you are to create a video as though you are speaking directly to the interviewer in response to their question. So you don't want to begin with, well, I would say this, or I would tell the interviewer that. So instead, you want to talk to the camera as though you're talking in response to that interviewer. And of course, then once you finish with that, you will also be required to reply to your classmates and try to put yourself in the position of the interviewer hearing their response and see how you might think about how you might respond to them. So this video also helps you to practice a skill that you also will be needing later in our course and, of course, throughout your professional career. And, of course, your multimodal presentation at the end of the term does require you to be doing a video presentation. So if you're not comfortable doing videos or recording yourself, this is going to give you a little bit of practice in a more low-stakes assignment. And, of course, be mindful of your surroundings, your audio levels. You might want to do a couple of practice videos first, just to make sure everything is working correctly. And of course, although I think it should have probably been clear even before the pandemic that much professional work goes on remotely, and of course through video connections, video meetings, I do them all the time. The impact of the pandemic really on the workplace is now very clear. So you should really expect to engage with others in your career through video conferencing. So, of course, becoming confident in doing that during college will also be good practice and help you professionally as you go out into the workforce and discover you have to do that on a regular basis, perhaps. So then on Thursday this week, we have our first student-led discussion facilitation, and that is on Wysocki's The Multiple Media of Texts. So the article is a little bit longer, but there are some visuals as well. So, and of course, in preparation for that discussion, you want to give that article a thorough reading. And this is our first student group discussion facilitation. So please do your best to make sure everyone has a positive experience. I know that the first groups are often a little bit nervous because they haven't seen how other groups have approached the assignment. But of course, make sure you read through the assigned reading first and take a look, go through the student group's presentation and respond to their prompt. So then this week, you are also going to be beginning some work on the Module 2 short essay, which is going to ask you to analyze a workplace document. So essentially, you're explaining how it works or how it functions as a multimodal document. So, of course, be sure that you review the assignment instructions. And, of course, this week, you are asked to identify the workplace document that you would like to use for that short essay. So Your chosen artifact for that should, of course, be multimodal, that is, use more than one mode. And it should, such as texts and images. Maybe it's has other elements as well if it's web based. And of course, it should be something that is produced by someone in by someone or an organization in your chosen field of study or your career path. Or you could focus it in particularly on something associated with your complex problem that you are exploring in this course. And if you could actually do both at the same time, that is something that is relating to your career and your complex problem, that's even better. But of course, I know it depends on your career choice and your complex problem choice. So what, of course, you choose can be print or digital. You will, of course, need to include a copy of whatever you choose so that I can take a look at it. And so be sure that you can scan it if it is a printed copy, or save it as a PDF or a similar file if it's a digital document, something that I can access. And of course, you'll want to choose something that is robust enough to allow you to offer a detailed analysis, but not so complicated or so long that you feel that you're spreading yourself too thin and trying to address it because there's just too much of it. So your analysis of the document will, of course, draw explicitly from some of our course materials that we're exploring in this module. So, for example, we've got Wysocki this week, so that's something to keep in mind when you read her. And of course, if you have any questions about the essay or about whether or not the document that you're choosing is going to work, make sure you do let me know. I'm happy to help out and take a look in advance. And similarly, if you do have any questions about anything else, make sure you let me know. Remember, I am, of course, not only available by email, but I'm also do hold office hours at the Middletown campus. And of course, that's Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 to 2:30. But I'm also available for video meetings. Since we are an online course, video might be more convenient for you. So I am available to do that as well. All right, I'm going to leave it at that for now. But as I said, let me know if you have any difficulties.